Hi everyone, this is Ashley with CT Marina Digitals. I'm going to do a tutorial to show you how to use my new Santa globe digital backdrops in Photoshop. Really they're photo templates because I have everything laid out for you to be able to just place your image and then tweak a couple of different things depending on your preference. I have 4 in this pack where the Santas all look a little different. There's more of a classic one, more of a fine art one, another fine art one, and then another more simple Santa. So you obviously can use whichever one you like. I'm going to do a sample with all 4 of them since they're a little bit different. So here are all the layers. There's the background layer, the background copy layer. You're not really going to do anything with those layers unless you're wanting to change something on the actual background. Then you would do it on these layers here. And then we have the layer for your photo, and then we have the mask here for the snow globe itself, and then optional snow to add into there, and some of the backdrops also have an optional glare to add as well. If you're wanting a different glare, I'll show you that part when you get there. If you want the whole photo in there and then you want to add a glare, you can always copy and paste it from a different file if you're wanting it on this one. But I did that for a reason, which I'll show. So you can have your image open in Photoshop already and then just copy and paste. But if you do that, let's go here, select all, edit, copy, and then if you paste it here above your image, edit and paste. And then you'll have to grab your move tool there and grab one of these boxes and go ahead and resize. You can do it that way. But if you're kind of wanting to switch between photos, so now see this layer is going to be blank, you can just not use that one or hide it because it is a blank layer. But I'm going to delete that real quick because you can also highlight your photo layer and then go up to File and Place Embedded and then navigate to the folder where your images are saved. And I'm just going to click a random one. Go ahead and resize that. And then say you want to try a different photo, you can just go ahead and right click that same layer and replace contents and then choose a different photo. Okay, so now I'm just going to leave this one in here. Not necessarily the image I want to use, but we're going to go ahead and use that one. So now you can leave this as is. If you want to decrease the opacity on your image, the initial globe will show through. But I wouldn't really recommend that because you don't really you want your subject to be the main focus. So I would just up that up. And then if you're wanting to kind of just get a little bit more of the globe in the photo, you can create a layer mask on your photo and use a black brush. I'd probably use about a soft brush at probably about 25% opacity. And then you can just brush off. And this is what I was talking about. I didn't put the glare in this one because you can get it pretty simply by just painting off on that part. And you can do it that way so you can see a little bit more of the glare. I wouldn't press X to switch between your white and your black brush. You can brush back on. I wouldn't recommend brushing off down here because that's where the snow is on the snow globe. And you can if you want it to show through for that image, but I don't want it to show through for this image. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And then you have your optional snow that you can also turn on that layer to add that in addition. And then this image would be done. It's that simple. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm going to click the Your Photo layer and I'm going to go up to File and Place Embedded. I'm going to use a darker image for this one because to kind of match the vibe of the digital backdrop here. I think maybe I'll use this one. This one looks like it would match really pretty. Go ahead and resize. Okay, and then I'm just going to zoom in real quick here. I'm going to create a layer mask on there. Black brush and just paint off just a little bit of the sides here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the snow on, and then this is the one where you can add the optional glare. But obviously, if it is over your subject's face, you don't really want that. You can move it, but I would just be cautious to how far over and where you move it, just so it still looks realistic. But I may not even use it on this photo, and I may just leave that because I do think that's really pretty. Okay, moving on to the next one. Your photo, file and place embedded. Let's get some with some snow in here. Go ahead and resize. Have her off to the side just a little bit. Okay, turn on the snow and the glare already turned on this one. You can turn it off if you want, and you can turn off the snow if you want, but I'm going to leave that on, and I don't think I'm going to brush that one off because I do think it looks pretty that way. This one, your photo, file, place embedded. I'm going to use a darker one on this. Go ahead and resize. This is a really cute picture. Okay, and I think I am going to brush off this one just a little bit. Create that layer mask, black brush. And you can get the original glare in this one if you just want to brush off. But if you decide not to brush off and you want to add that optional glare, you can. And I'm going to add that snow as well. I think I like that one the most. I think I just really like that photo. But I am going to brush off to get that original glare in there. Okay, and then a different way to use these, which most people actually might want to use them instead of using the full image. I'm going to go back to my regular file here. I have another image open. If you want to not use the whole background, you're going to have to remove your subject from its original layer. So you can, I'm going to go up to my quick selection tool here, and I'm going to go to select subject. It may do a good job, it may not, which it did do a pretty good job. Okay, and then I'm going to just copy, edit, copy, and go over to which one I want to use. I think I was using this one. And then you can just paste above your photo layer there, or that actually pasted it into my photo layer. And then make sure you press that move tool because I couldn't even see it. It pasted over here, so I can just drag and you can just use, I'm going to turn off that glare. Oh, it's on the original one too, which this is okay. This is a good example. So if you really wanted to use this one and you did not want that glare on there, you could use a tool in Photoshop, like maybe the magic eraser, or you might have to unlock that layer. See, it was locked right here. You just have to press it to unlock it. And you could play around with that to get rid of that glare on there. It may or may not work flawlessly. It just kind of depends on how Photoshop wants to work. But some of the original images do have glare, so you would have to get rid of that. Let's see how it does here. Just waiting for it to work. There we go. Okay, so it didn't get rid of it completely. So you could use like your clone tool. I'm just going to do a quick one here real quick, just so I can continue with the tutorial. There we go. Okay, glare gone. And then you would need to just zoom in on your subject and then create that layer mask on your subject and use your white or black brush at 100% opacity to zoom in and just really clean up the edges on your subject, which I'm not going to take the time in the tutorial to do that. I have many other tutorials on my YouTube channel about cleaning up subjects if you want to watch those, but you just have to use your white and black brush to brush on and brush off certain parts of your subject. So this is good enough for tutorial sake. But yes, you could do it that way so you can see the whole actual globe from the digital and just add a subject in there. If you do add the subject to the snow, you may want to create another layer above your background on multiply blending mode. Use a brush at about 25% opacity, a soft brush. hold down Alt on your keyboard and click a shadow within the snow, and then paint on some shadow below your subject onto the snow so they don't look copy and paste. So that's just another way to use them. If you want to use your subject as more of an overlay, you're going to have to get rid of that background first. And then, yeah, the snow's already on. Okay. And then if you want, you can also, I left, I think, all of the snow layers on Smart Objects. So if you do have a different snow overlay that you want to use, you can even change that. Just right click, place contents, and then navigate to wherever you have your snow overlay saved, and you can actually change the snow overlay as well. You can create a layer mask on the snow to brush some of it off if you want, which I'm actually going to brush off down here. Black brush at 100% opacity, and I'm just going to, because the snow wouldn't be visible right there actually. So you can just brush that off of there. If you want to have the glare visible, but you don't want it to be as strong, you can lower the opacity on it, or you can create a layer mask on that and use your brush and just brush some of it off to make it not as noticeable. All of the layers are, you can edit all of the layers because they're PST files. So they're pretty versatile. So if you have, that's it. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. If you are a studio photographer, I would love for you to join my group on Facebook. It is linked in the description. I also have a QR code for the YouTube channel if you want to access a bunch of more free tutorials.